Hello, welcome to the channel. Here to do yet another wrap up my September fanfiction reads. Starting off, this first fanfiction I'm reviewing is titled Damaged Goods, written by Slytherin After Dark. A 50-chapter story that took me 3 days to finish. Yeah, another tick to my TBR list. Diving straight into reviewing this story, I have to say that I cannot understand how Hermione could easily agree to helping Draco with an unbreakable vow. Like, she didn't have any idea what exactly the task entailed, committing herself blindly like that. I mean, despite the little blackmail, she could have made a bit of a counter clause to the vow before pledging herself to Draco. And seriously, I felt resorting Hermione Granger into a different house was unnecessary. Come on, McGonagall. Some bloody prank she did on a few hormonal boys and she got expelled from Gryffindor? That's really a bit too rash of a punishment. And to Slytherin, I'd rather have Hermione just be normal great pals with the Slytherin gangs on her own, not by transferring her into their house. Too imposing. From the start, I already had a bad feeling that Draco would end up as a victim, seeing how he's a high-profile Death Eater. But fortunately, nothing of that sort happened. His imminent death was because of an entirely different reason: his cursed dark mark on his arm. And that's the first AI-generated pic I did for this fic. I was all in for a tragic twist with Hermione forgetting all of Draco and start anew with a more than glad Ron Weasley. But even the readers were out in the dark that she had secretly imbibed herself with an anti-oblivion potion. Brightest switch of her age. Moving on to the other characters, I'm most unimpressed with Harry Potter. I mean, I could deal with Ron's attitude, but not Harry's. He's so annoyingly law-abiding. And really, I felt the whole plot around Bellatrix Lestrange was kinda untenable. She basically did a version of a Horcrux into Hermione by cursing her blood. It just didn't make sense to the Potterhead in me. But I just accepted and went along with the plot. I'll be awarding this fic 3 stars. And by the way, I would indicate the index number of the fanfiction reviewed that goes hand in hand with my reading log. What I really appreciated was just how swift, annoying people were killed upon intent. No beating around the bush with missed opportunities. For example, those annoying bunch of prideful aurors killed by Draco's killer icy dragon. Phew, I was grinning in glee reading that part. Bravo, Malfoy. Yes, and them. And yeah, the lemons in the story were very, very juicy too. Like, woohoo! Love the intensity. All in all, before diving into this fic, I had honestly expected something more dire, damaged. Almost like the preparation I did before reading Bloody, Slutty and Pathetic. Well, it was to a certain extent, yes, but not on that level I had primed myself for. But nonetheless, a good read still. Now, this next fic I'm reviewing is titled This Is How You Destroy Me, a 26-chaptered marriage law fic authored by Emeralds in the Dark. Yeah, it took me 2 days to finish the whole fic. A story I found as a recommendation on Instagram. Really, I wish the fic could have focused more on Dramione instead of making Ron Pansy as the other main couple. I mean, it's listed as a Dramione fanfiction for heaven's sake. So, to be honest, I really felt the build-up between Dramione was inadequate. I didn't feel the expected level of intensity, what with their constant squabbles. In fact, I felt Ron and Pansy's UST was far greater than theirs. Something that really disappointed me reading this supposedly Dramione fanfiction. Even after both Draco and Hermione became cordial with each other, I felt the needed tension was missing. If ever, I'd give the bit of marks to Draco's character, since I really felt that there was little indication of sexual attraction from Hermione's side. AI picks I did for this fic. Moving to that other main couple, Ron and Pansy, I love their coupling. Ron's very matured now post-war. I love his collected, calm manner, yet raw protectiveness to both his friends and family. But really, I felt for Pansy in this fic. Again, something I really wish I felt for Dramione instead. She truly was on her own. Nonetheless, other than the aforementioned characters, Luna Lovegood's character was very enjoyable. Love her blatant yet dreamy, unfiltered accounts with her husband. Although yeah, I felt Blaze's character was quite underutilized, almost like an NPC. I'm gonna award this fic 3 stars also. Theo and Daphne, they're good I guess. Quite a power couple in their own way. Neville and Ginny though, them having a history was rather palpable. The whole wand choosing each other, and yet Harris didn't choose anyone's was quite brilliantly thought out. But, oh yeah, the mother-in-law, Narcissa Malfoy. Very narcissistic as expected. Of course, I would dream for a soft, lovely MIL, but this is Narcissa Malfoy we're talking about. Hope her attitude changes for the better once she learns how in love her son is with the Muggle wand. In conclusion, I feel it's an okay marriage law fic. Not something I'd recommend though. It just honestly did not meet my expectation on many levels. Moving on, for all the other fanfictions that I reviewed and not give a 2-page review spread, I review them like this. Just a simple template I believe I'll stick with for the next year's journals too. Yep, rating fanfictions is what this journal is for, if you haven't catch on. So if you're one of those who are opposed to it, hello! Glad to see you're still sticking around after a whole 30 minutes. Yeah, more AI images, one for each story. Yeah, I love these pictures, seeing this fics almost alive. And yep, I use Emma Watson's and Tom Felton's faces as my Dramione, as do the other main characters like Rupert, Daniel, and etc. As much as some people may hate that. I know they mostly do not look anything like the characters in JKR's books, but I have registered each of them as my HP characters in my mind. So whether people like it or not, I will keep using the movie cast members as my characters. And by the way, yes, Harry Potter isn't the only fanfiction I read. Ever since the last new episodes of Wednesday released, I was on a Tyler Wednesday Whaler fanfiction hunt. And this Rut Duology series by Aramenia16 was something I was hooked to. So good. More Whaler fics there. Oh, and yes, those green dots are for the index numbers. That third fic there will be my monthly Dramione rec this time. A fun one-shot titled Common Ground by Jazzy to Fade Away Again on ff.net. And that's my reading log. I'll be coloring those fics that I reviewed just in random greens off my palette. Now, this is my favorite monthly quote from the fic Masked Motives by In Dreams. I'll be using this unpeeled photo sticker, be using this washi tape, to make like a flat window, just for a simple interactivity. I'll be using pie charts for my monthly statistics. Be using this app called Trace Table. Basically, using my phone as a lightbox. Make sure the screen is locked and unmovable. Listing down the tropes for this chart. Start coloring in the sections. Darkening the lines a bit. And I guess it's time for a flip through. About half filled for my DNS this month. Not so bad, I think. Another full 3 pages of fanfictions read. That's 103 fanfictions, by the way. Admittedly, mostly one-chaptered. If you're wondering why I rather review on my journal instead on the online fics themselves, well, my choice, my journal. Nobody's going to tell me what to do. Don't like that? Scram! I love keeping all kinds of journal, flipping through years of memories. So this too is basically like a record-keeping journal. So yeah. By the way, yeah, I have limited myself with just 2 long fics for major 2-page spread reviews. Otherwise, my video would end up an hour long. Can't have that. Well, I guess that's about it for this month's reads. I thank you guys for sticking up till here. Till then, happy reading and bye!